All right, hi everyone, BG Musician here, and today we're going to be learning measures 3 and 4 of the Super Mario Brothers ground background music. So if you've made it this far, you've watched the theory video, you know what to expect throughout the song. You've also mastered measures 1 and 2 and learned a bunch of new notes in the process. So I hope you're having a lot of fun on this journey. I just wanted to briefly talk to you to keep you encouraged, keep you inspired, and just keep working at it. It's going to take time and practice. And a lot of us are spending a lot of times indoors right now due to the coronavirus. So enjoy that time and use it to learn a new skill. So if you have any questions throughout this video, please put them in the comment section, and I will do my best to answer them as we go along. So let me put this on the screen real quick to discuss what we went over yesterday. And previous notes that we learned were E, C, G, D, F sharp, and B. So that is a total of 6 notes that you already should have under your belt. If you haven't mastered those yet, take some time. Go back to the previous video, measures 1 through 2 of the ground background music, and find where those are at and really master those notes. Today we're going to be learning 4 new notes: A, B flat, F, and G flat. So without further ado, let's dive in. All right. So I'm going to keep those notes up on the screen so that you can watch them. I've even labeled the notes in the new measures so that you'll have some familiarity with them. So as you'll recall, the first 2 measures went a little something like this. So you should have that part mastered at this point. Once again, that's measures 1 and 2. And we're just going to put those on with a metronome. If you haven't purchased a metronome yet, that's fine. But the metronome is the way to make sure you're actually playing in time. So let's see what that sounds like in time. So that's how fast measures 1 and 2 are. So keep that in mind. That's sort of the tempo that we're going at here. I put a link for this metronome in the description. This is the one I've been using. It's pretty good. Not a lot of bells and whistles, but it does exactly what you need it to do. Measures 3 and 4, they're going to sound like this. This is where the real melody starts coming in, and we can start having some real fun. All right. Once again, it's going to sound like. Alright, so that's what we're going to be learning today. I hope you're very excited. I know I am. So let's briefly go over the new notes that we're going to be discussing. I'll put those up on the screen. You can see the new notes for today are A, B flat, F, and G flat. And if you remember from our first lesson, you can always identify C's on the keyboard. There's a C right in the middle of the piano or keyboard. It's called middle C. It sounds like this. So this is always the middle. Anything to the right of that will typically be the right hand. Anything to the left will typically be the bass. And then the notes just repeat over and over. So you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C each time. So we want to identify A. So let's start at C. D, E, F, G, A. Okay? So you can tell it's going to be 6 notes up from C. That's one way to identify it. Another way you can identify A is take these 3 black notes, and you'll notice it'll be the note immediately to the right of the middle black note. So take a moment, identify all of the A's on the keyboard or piano. Perfect. That's 1 out of our 4 new notes for these measures. The next one's going to be B flat. And I'll give you a moment to try to find it on your own before I show you where it is. Alright, hopefully you found this note right here. It might have been tricky because it is a flat, but remember we discussed in the previous video, flats are the note immediately to the left of another note. So you find B, and then you go immediately to the left of B to get B flat. And as you know, B is one note to the left of C. So you can find C, you could go up or down, you could say C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Alright, and then you just flat that. So you can use it in reference to C, or you can realize, oh, B flat is always going to be the third note in this set of 3 black notes. Or you can say, oh, well, B flat is always going to be immediately to the right of A. You start to develop all these different reference patterns, you'll be able to see notes relative to other notes. And you'll get really good at this as you develop this skill set. But if you're still struggling, you can always start with C. You always know C is the one immediately to the left of the 2. And then just count your way up. The next one is going to be F. I know we learned F sharp in the last 2 measures, but this one we're just going to do classic F. Let's go ahead and find F. It should be pretty straightforward. You know where C is. D, E, F. F is going to be 4 notes up from C. D, E, F. Or it's going to be the note to the immediate left of these 3 black notes. So that's A, B flat, and F. Now let's find G flat. So we just found F. We know G is 1 note above F. And what is a flat again? Right, that's correct. Assuming you got it right. It'll be the note immediately to the left, a half step of the note that we're on. So G is here, G flat is here. And you might say, oh, that was F sharp. Yes, yes it is. It's also F sharp. It's F sharp and it's G flat. It's the same note, it's the same frequency, but you can reference that note in different ways. So don't let that confuse you. A single note on the keyboard or piano can have multiple names or multiple ways to be referenced. Think of yourself. You might have a name that your mom calls you. You might have a name that your friends call you. And it all depends on the context that you're in. You know, if you're at work, maybe you go by your real first name. Maybe if you're home, you go by your middle name. So there's all sorts of ways to uniquely identify these notes, and they might have multiple names. So don't let that confuse you. That's just how it is. It's based on the context of the song, typically the key signature. Okay, let's go over the notes one more time. We've got A, B flat, F, and G flat. Those are all the new notes that are in this measure. So let's get started with measure 3, the right hand only. We'll notice our first note is 2 notes. It's going to be an E and a C. And they're recommending we use our 1 and 5. Remember, 1 on the right hand is our thumb, 5 is our pinky. So let's get those into the correct position. You know where E is, and you know where C is. So put your thumb on E, put your pinky on C, and let's just play that. And we're playing it staccato. Really short, loud. Measures 3 and 4, you'll notice there's that little MF at the beginning. That means mezzo forte. That means moderately loud. So the first 2 measures were loud. Then we move into moderately loud. So when we play this for real, it's going to be a little louder than this. Something more like that. Alright, double time. Relax the shoulders. Keep the wrist nice and loose. Bounce. 1 5 1 5 1 5. Okay, great. So now that's the very first 1 5 that's on E and C. Next we'll go to G, which is on 2. If your hand is lined up like this, you're already there. That's the nice thing about finger positions. Once again, you can be smart about where you place your fingers so that the song becomes easier. 1 5 here. The next note is G. It's going to be 2. So put down your pointer finger. And then let's just go ahead and throw in the E. We already played the E with our 1. So that's what that's going to look like. So the very first measure with the right hand is going to be like this. One, 5, together, 2, 1. Now if you'll notice, the first note that we play is staccato, the middle note is not, and the third note is. So you want to attack that first one and let off quickly. Second one you can hold a little longer. And then the third one, attack. Da, da, da. Short, long, short. 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 Let's do it 3 more times. Keep that shoulder relaxed. It's very important to be aware of your body. Your back should be nice and straight. Your feet should be flat on the floor. You should be able to breathe. You want to be very intentional. All right, wonderful. That's the first measure with the right hand. Now let's move on to the fourth measure. With our right hand, you'll notice that our third finger is already in position on A. So play that A a few times. All right, let's add in that A with the third measure. So it's going to be like. And the reason you want to do that is you want to practice the transition from measure 3 to measure 4. It's one thing to learn measure 4 by itself, but you need to know the transition to make sure that your fingerings are right and it's smooth. Okay, the next thing is we're going to be playing B. And we are familiar with where B is. Our fourth finger is on it. It doesn't label it, right? The sheet music doesn't say 4 above it because it assumes if our third is on A, then our fourth is probably on B. And that's correct. So that's right here. So let's play the measure A and then B. And notice these notes aren't staccato. All right, let's do measure 3 and add those 2 notes, A and B. Short. Short, long, short, long, long, short, long, short, long, long. Great. So now let's add the B flat. This is the new note that we're learning today's lesson. Remember, it's just, we know where the B is, we just played it. Now we're going to go down 1 step. So let's play that. If you notice, I'm playing it with my third finger, like the music recommends, which means I have to hop up from that A. My third finger was on A, but now it's going to hop over right here. And it's not a big movement. It's a pretty small movement. And these are all smooth. Let's add in measure 3 again. And the final note of the fourth measure is an A. Luckily, we don't need to move our hand. The 3 should go right back down there to that A. You just slide it right on down. It's about as much work to slide the 3 down as it is to move the 2. But you can do whatever feels good to you. You might want to experiment. That's the thing about finger positions. They're just recommendations. If something feels better to you, feel free to try it. Now that I'm doing it, I kind of like that 2 a little bit better, because it sets me up for the G that's coming next. Alright, let's play 3 and 4 together, just the right hand. Short, long, short, long, 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 short, short, long, short, long, 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 short. All right, wonderful. That's the right hand. That's complete. Great job. Now for the left hand. It's the same rhythmic pattern as the right hand. As you'll notice, the notes line up perfectly on top of each other. That means the left hand and the right hand are going down and up at the same time. That's very important, because there will come a time where the left hand is going down while the right hand is not. And that's going to take your brain a little bit of time to get adjusted to, but I'm sure you'll get it just fine nonetheless. So the first note is going to be the G. So you want to find that middle C. Remember, we identified the C that's directly in the middle of the keyboard. And this is where the left hand is going to start, right to the left of this. So you want to find the G that's right to the left of that middle C, and put your thumb on it. So we're just going to dive right in. We got G, E, C. It's the perfect finger position. Our pinky should be on this C down here. Our middle finger should be on E. And our thumb should be on G. And the first notes are just C, E, G, down that scale. So, and it's short, long, short, short, long, short, short, long, short, short, long, short. This is called a triad. It's 3 notes that are built on top of each other. When you play it, it's actually a C major triad. Alright, so you got that. It's just G, C. And feel free, like, what I like to do is when I'm doing a pattern for the left hand, just throw in some right hand notes, just so you get that familiarity with both hands playing at the same time. Don't waste an opportunity where your right hand's just sitting there. Once you get the pattern down, short, long, short, short, long, short. You can slow down. You know, just something like that. Just play around with it. That's the first measure, easy, on the left hand. Next, we've got F. So finger stays in the same positioning. You don't have to lift your hand or anything. It'll be F with 2, the pointer finger. G with 1, which we're already on. G flat with 2. And then F with 2. You'll just slide that down. So we're picking up the pace a little. You're starting to get the concept, so I'm not going to do one note at a time anymore. We've got F, G, G flat, F. Short, long, long, long. It's long, 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 short. Long, 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 short. Long, 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 short. Long, 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 short. Remember, we're on F, which is the note immediately to the left of this group of 3. And we're going to be in our bass, which means to go to the bass, you want to find that middle C. You want to go to the left of it. F, G, G flat, F. All right, let's play the whole 3rd and 4th measure with the left hand. Da, 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 da. Short, long, short, long, 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 short, short, long, short, long, 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 short. All right, wonderful job, guys. We've got the right hand down. We've got the left hand down. Now, for the fun part, we combine them together. So, as just a brief reminder, the right hand is the left hand is. All right, let's do them together. We're going to go nice and slow. This is always what you want to do. If you have the metronome, start it out really slow. 80 is where you want to be. So since we're learning, let's put it on 60. Alright, and just keep doing that over and over. And if 60 is too fast and you have the metronome, well, that's fine. Go down to 40. Like, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not about how quickly you can learn something. It's how quickly you can learn it and develop good skills and good practice habits that will help you learn anything moving forward. Alright, so this is going to sound like... Alright, so now let's crank her up to 70. We've got that. And just do it at your own pace. Remember, you want to go until you break, basically. So until you can't get it, that's where you stop. Alright, so I'm going to have some fun, and I'm going to crank it up to 100. Oh, that's quick. 4. So I can still do that. Let's find out where I break down. Maybe 120. Alright, maybe it's 140. You get the point. So you want to keep slowly increasing that tempo if you can, if you've got the metronome, until you get comfortable playing it. And at first, maybe you're just doing it so slow. But I highly recommend using that metronome. So now we know measures 1 through 4 of the Super Mario Brothers ground background music. Altogether, we should be comfortable playing. Alright, so go back and learn measures 1 and 2 if you're still struggling with that. Now you've got measures 3 and 4. Next up, we've got measures 5 and 6, and these are going to be very tricky. Here's just a little taste. Notice there's a lot of movement with the hand. So it's going to look something like. So just be ready for that. Here we go. Alright, so you have that to look forward to. Measures 5 and 6 will be posting soon. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to leave me comments, ask any questions, anything that I may have glossed over. Remember, I've been looking at this stuff for years now, so something might seem obvious to me, but you might be thinking, "What? I don't know what that is." He's assuming that I know, and I don't. So ask the question. It's fine. A lot of times people who are surrounded by this stuff and have learned it for many years forget that sometimes these things weren't quite so obvious. So enjoy. Have a great day, everyone, and we will talk to you on the next video. Thank you.